PDG Dr. Ivor Thevathasan is the Chairman, Council of Governors for Rotary Year 2012-13. On behalf of the District Rotary Information Committee, we welcome you to Rotary Conversation. Could you share with us your role as Chairman of the Council of Governors? Is there any change in this role when compared to, say, like 15 years ago?
Well, I wouldn't know about 15 years ago because I wasn't a member of the council. But I think basically from what I hear, the council remained about the same. Constituency, the chairman, and the entity remains the same. But I think they've got a little more polished over the years because our past governors are busy people, and when they get together, they are getting together for a purpose. The purpose is Rotary in the district, and whatever problems or things they need to discuss. Therefore, they don't waste time, and so therefore their actions in the committee are very precise, and I suppose precedents have been set in the past, so they follow the pattern year after year. So I think they've improved after 15 years, I'm quite sure, right? And
how often does the Council of Governors meet in a year?
Right.
And what are the issues that are discussed?
Yeah. So as not to inconvenience everyone who are busy, generally they tend to meet during the two occasions during the year, the district year. That is the district conference and the district assembly. And the governors usually attend these two important district events. So that's the best time without inconveniencing governors, past governors, and also getting to accomplish all the work that has to be done with a minimum amount of time. So a time is set during the district assembly, during the district conference, to meet as a group to discuss matters. So basically twice a year.
Okay.
Right.
And what are the issues that are discussed?
All matters pertaining to the district or a district governor or whatever members, Rotarians, clubs, and past governors or the governor or the incoming governor wishes to have the advice or the direction from the past governors, right? So those are the things that, and we stick to that basically. Or I think one exception would be Rotary International. Rotary is an evolving organization, right? It's not static. It's a well-oiled machine, but it moves with the times and with the modern day problems. So if the Rotary board, Rotary International Board, presents us with new ideas, we have to discuss them. And usually the senior Rotarians, who are the governors with the experience, will go over them to advise the governor, right? And about these things. So that's what's their main purpose, I suppose.
With the formation of RI District 3310 Berhad, corporatized entity for District 3310, has the role of Council of Governors changed?
It has not really changed, but we now have to go through one more step before. Previously, it was basically the Council of Governors and the incumbent district governor are the two senior bodies. But the governor, the current governor, is the principal RI officer of the district. The past governors don't have a standing, but they are advisory board, you see. So now what has happened is with the RI District 3310 Berhad, the company, we now direct our advice or when we are asked to the company as well as the governor. So it's not really complicated. It's just that we have to be aware that we have now a new body, but the body consists of whom? The governor, right? The chairman of the council and a few other past governors, etc. So they're the same people. So we don't have to sort of, but for the sake of formality, we have to go through the RI 3310 Barat corporate body so that officially it is recognized as the company that runs the Rotary district. Right?
One of your roles is to chair the nominating committee for the selection of future district governors. Could you share with us some details of the process involved?
All what I'm saying, I hope, and I'm correct, is actually in the principal book that all Rotarians must refer to, right? And that is the current copy, not an old copy. The current copy of the Manual of Procedure, which is given out by the RI board, the current RI board, for all clubs to follow, right? As a guide, as well as its rules, right? So we follow that. It's quite complex and covers a lot of facts and material. But as a reference, it's excellent because this has evolved over 100+ years. And I have always found, being involved with many organizations besides Rotary, that I always find confidence in guiding other organizations, right, professional and otherwise, that if we have a problem, I always say, I wonder what RI would have to say about this problem. And I usually find an answer in Rotary's guidance to Rotary, you see? And I find it of great help in other organizations. I said, Rotary does this. Nowadays, I don't make excuses. I'm a Rotarian, I'm proud to be one. And therefore, I tell them, I belong to Rotary. And it's an international, huge organization, very well organized, very well set out. And let's see how they would do it. And that's how I find that, and many organizations treat it with respect because they know, everybody knows Rotary, and so they accept.
So the nominating process.
Yes. All right. Yes, you're asking about the nominating. The nominating committee, fortunately or unfortunately, the chairman of the council automatically becomes the chairman of the nominating committee. And here, I suppose one of the principal important tasks of the council is to actually elect a district governor for a future year. Usually about 2 years ahead, right? The RI book makes it very clear that it must be not more than 36 months and not less than 24 months. So that means 3 years and not less than 2 years. So there's always 1 or 2 governors in waiting, I call it, for the job, right? Now, the process of selection is we invite through the governor. The governor will send out a notice to say to the clubs, this is how we do it in our district. Doesn't mean that all districts follow the same procedure, but basically it's the same. We send out a notice to invite clubs to send in candidates to be governors. And then this is circulated, and then there's a selection committee, which is the nominating committee, which may interview and review their portfolio, their qualifications, if you would like to call it that, right? Then have a selection process by the governors, and again the nominating committee consists of, I think, 3 senior past district governors, meaning senior most, and 2 recent past governors. So there are 5. Yeah. 5. So this is how it's made out. And if any one of them unable to, then the Council of Governors may select another past governor to sit on the board, on the selection committee. If by chance some of the candidates put up are not fully qualified in any way, we will then inform the district governor. The district governor is and his team are the vehicle by which they inform the clubs. We do not approach clubs ourselves because we are, again, as I said, advisory. And even when we've selected somebody, it is given to the governor to make it official at the district conference or the assembly, you see. So he's the main person, because he's the only RI, senior most RI officer in the district.
So while a Rotary Club can submit the name of a candidate, under which circumstances can the committee reject the nomination?
Okay. As all things, there are procedures to follow. The Rotary Club can submit a name of obviously a past president, right? If they don't select the past president, if they select a ordinary Rotarian, they must give very, very good reasons why, right? And then I won't give reasons why it may be rejected or not, but it will be considered by the nominating committee, but most probably rejected, because he's not a president. He's not been in a post long enough to understand Rotary, I feel, So maybe that's one thing. The other thing is the club must also declare in a resolution at a club meeting that they have selected so and so as their candidate for district governorship to be submitted to the nominating committee. So there have been 1 or 2 occasions in the past where the clubs have not done that. So the candidate will be rejected. But we usually, what we do it in a nice way, we inform the club that you have not gone through the process. Please do so, right? And it's just a matter of announcing it at the club meeting and getting the okay from the members, and then we proceed, you see. So there's just to tell you the procedures to follow, you see. And all this is set out, as I said, in the manual of procedure. In fact, I think another good thing that has come out very recently is the district directory and handbook. Excellent, because each district have got their own peculiarities, I suppose. And even though we are all within Rotary, certain things have been accepted by certain districts don't accept it, right? Rotary is so big. So this relates to District 3310, right? And it's most helpful, and this is given to all Rotarians, and they should all have a copy. Otherwise, they have to keep mum.
Still continuing on the nominating committee aspect, what are the steps taken by the nominating committee if there is a challenge put up by another candidate or a Rotary Club?
Again, this is very clearly set out in the manual of procedure. I can't remember all the steps, but basically we have to inform the governor to inform the district, in other words, all members, all clubs, that there has been a challenge, right? The challenge must also be from a club that has already submitted a candidate. You cannot put in a new name. It won't be accepted. You see? So let's say there are 3 candidates put up, and the nominating committee has selected one to be suggested to the district governor. However, there is a challenge, you see, from one of the other candidates. So then it must go to the clubs in a form and maybe a ballot vote, right? Because again, selection is from clubs, not by the nominating committee alone. That's the next step, you see. And when there's a challenge, it must be upheld not by the club who submitted the name alone. There must be 5 other clubs, or I think 10% of the number of clubs in the district, something like that. You know, it's there in the manual of procedure, right? So this is how Rotary tries to regularize all this sort of thing, right? So that's what happens, right?
Generally speaking, what's the selection criteria and time frame involved in the DG selection process?
Well, basically, I think selection depends on the character of the Rotarian, his involvement in Rotary in the district, and the work he has done. And I basically feel, having the experience, I guess, of being part of the process for the last 10 years, and that is candidates who have been very active in the district in a positive way are usually selected because of their willingness to work for the district. And usually there's no competition because they are so good. The problem is the candidate himself is unable to allocate that much time these days to serve Rotary fully for 1 year as a governor. That is the difficult thing. Are you willing to serve Rotary for 1 year? And as usually happens, not only in Rotary but in other organizations as well, the best men don't have the time. The ones who are not so the best are the ones who have the time. So whom would you like to choose as your leader? It's difficult, you know. Yeah.
Okay, we all know that having a thorough understanding of Rotary policies, grants, procedures, protocol, and Rotary information is a necessity. But besides knowledge, are there certain skills or qualities that you would be looking for in a potential DG?
I think human communication, being a diplomat in a Rotary sense, plays a big part in ironing out problems, getting clubs to agree with each other, and getting projects moving. I think that sort of candidate is a person who will get the job done. A hard-headed individual usually runs against hard walls. I always felt in Rotary, as the higher you go in Rotary, it is every Rotarian is a capable person. I feel 95% of Rotarians in the district are capable to be district governors, provided they put their heart and soul into what they do, right? And time. So this is becoming more and more of a difficult situation, because we all have limited time, we all have responsibilities, and we have to serve our families, our community. So that's the greatest hurdle in selecting. I think selection is not the acceptance by the candidate.
What do you think is the biggest challenge for you or your committee that you'll have to face while selecting a DG?
Well, the first step would be, because this is the first year that we're going to have this Rotary RI District 3310 Berat, this company thing, I don't really see much problems because the same people are involved in the district. So it's like the left hand and the right hand talking to each other and all part of the Rotary family. So should not be a problem. But we will only know at the end of the year how things are going to gel and work together. But I have good hopes that we are doing the right thing and that we will move forward.
Compared to, let's say, 10 or 20 years ago, I understand that there were many more Rotarians who were very driven and keen on becoming a DG than when you compare to now. Why do you think this change has happened?
Well, life has evolved, with time. And I think that word time is a factor that has affected. People are very involved in many things. And every aspect of one's life, as a leader in one's company or profession or community, more and more is required of your time. And this is the biggest hurdle that I think leaders in Rotary will face. Fortunately, some who have been successful have been people who've made their life or made their fortune and have therefore said, I'd like to give back some of that time or my time back to the community. So leave my work, put my family aside for a little bit and concentrate on a Rotary. Now, how many people can do that? And it's becoming more and more difficult. So it's not just Rotary. I think in all organizations or all aspects of our life in this world is affected by this factor. Plenty of good people, they're still there. But how many can commit themselves? This is the problem.
So to those Rotarians who are aiming to being a district governor in the near future, what would you like to say?
Don't lose heart. If you're keen, Rotary has a role for you, right? Some young people, Rotarians, all of them good, but some are very ambitious, right? But I suppose the district will have to decide whether they are appropriately qualified, appropriate assets for leadership in the district, right? To take on the job. So I will say, be humble, continue to do good work in the district. You will be noticed and you would have to put yourself forward. We will get to you. And the chances these days are, if you're a good Rotarian, you will be approached before you offer your services.
So I think the candidate will be headhunted. That's
right. In other words, we say, who are the good men in Kuching or Kota Kinabalu or Malacca? These are the people. We are always looking out. In the district, senior Rotarians, governors, we are always looking out. Who's that young man who spoke? Right? He was a leader in Rotaract. He's now a Rotarian. Potential leader. Potential governor or somebody like that. So we are always looking out. So far we have been fortunate and we've had very good leaders, right? I have great hopes for the next few years, but we don't have to just think about this year, next year and the following year. We have to think even further ahead, right? And in my experience, there have been a case of a governor whose wife got very ill, right? And he hadn't taken on his governorship yet. His wife became very ill. So he had to regretfully not only step down, he resigned from Rotary. He had to spend a lot of time with his wife. he said he was very regretful, but after a lot of thought, he felt he had to resign. Right? So we told him, all right, we'll give you medical leave indefinitely for how many years? She was quite ill, so she lived for about 1 or 2 years. The good news was this happened in Japan, all right? So it's nothing to do with this area. But he was a governor during my time, and I had met him, and he was already a governor. Then the next thing, he disappeared. You see, so I said, what happened? And they said, all right, well, his wife became ill, but he rejoined Rotary later, 2 years later, and they were thinking of appointing him as governor in 1 or 2 years' time, because in the process they had other people who were waiting to be governor. So he missed his turn, but a good man will never be left behind. And I'm confident that in a few years he would be selected again, right? So.
Thank you very much for sharing so many details and your personal insights about Rotary. I'm sure many Rotarians would benefit from this conversation with you today. Thank you.
Thank you.